Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bama Standard, and tonight we are brought to you by, first and foremost, Teague's Take, Oakmont Financial Partners, and Workspace Solutions. I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is all SEC linebacker, Mr. Marvin Constant, and senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith. Welcome in, fellas.
Yay. Welcome.
Doing good,
Well,
man. Doing good. Today's a special show today.
Absolutely. Taking this great opportunity that we've been provided to honor a great man. And I want to start us out by reading a Bible verse that I feel like applied to Santonio Beard's life. Therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. That's Hebrews 12:1. And when I think about Santonio Beard, every Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium before the hundreds of thousands of witnesses, he was shaking off defenders. He was shaking off those linebackers and running with perseverance down that sideline. Tall, sweet, didn't matter what it was, and getting to that end zone. And just like that in life, he was evading anything that tried to take him down, any kind of negativity, any trial, tribulation, sidestepped it, stiff-armed it, and now he has reached the ultimate prize, and he has gone on to glory. But tonight, this episode is dedicated to not only him, but his family, his friends, his teammates, and all who love him. And we're going to be joined by some of his teammates tonight. So I invite you to sit back and just enjoy what we have to provide for you. And again, we thank God for this great opportunity. Stephen Smith, if you would kind of start out for us, man, kind of tell us how Santonio influenced your life as a player early on.
I mean, for me, Justin, and everybody listening, of course, my enjoyment of Alabama football, or a love affair, if you will, with the sport, it started in the late 90s. I mean, Sean Alexander was the first back I looked at, but behind Sean, Santonio Beard really captivated my attention. And the reason why was just the energy and the passion that he played with, just the love and the smile. And football meant something to him. It was almost like he was always running from something, but running towards something. And I always looked at that when I look at Beard. He was always running to something bigger, something better, something greater, a greater cause, a greater purpose, a destiny for himself. And not just himself, but before his family. And what he did at the University of Alabama, who he was in the state of Tennessee, definitely in the Nashville area, and just a guy that so many players have wore the number 34, but when Beard wore it, it meant this dude is about to do something big time. Like, this is a special individual right here when that 34 took the field. And though he shared time with Ahmad Galloway, Shawn Williams, you knew when Santonio was on the field, it was just something different. And to see him go from that to a guy that was prospering in terms of life after football. He was putting together successful businesses. He was putting together successful companies. He was putting his family and the people that he loved even above his own self. And to no longer see him here, it's painful, because it just shows how dark this world is, and how important that you have to know where you are and where your surroundings is at all times.
Without a doubt. He was a man that was very passionate and had a commanding presence. You couldn't help but like the guy. You couldn't help but love the man. You know, he was a guy that everybody wanted to be friends with. You know, when I looked at him on the field and anything he did, it's like he was the whole show. You know, he was a center stage, but also he wanted to share that stage with you. He brought people up to share that spotlight with him.
Justin, he was LeBron James throwing the chalk up before LeBron James started doing that.
Oh, without question. It looks like we have a couple of his former teammates has already joined. Before I let them in, JT, if you would, JT is our producer tonight. If you would, Wesley Britt could not make it. He had an engagement he couldn't get out of. He tried to desperately, but he couldn't. But he wanted to make sure that he left his thoughts with us. So if you would, JT, please run that clip so that the audience can see what Wesley Britt had to say.
It's great to be on Bama Standard again, but unfortunately, we come to you in somber circumstances. But Justin, Marvin, Stephen, thank you for putting this together. Thank you for giving us a chance to talk about Santonio Beard, talk about the man that we remember, not just the great running back who brought so much joy to people's lives, the running back who scored 5 touchdowns, breaking a record against Ole Miss in 02, the running back who ended the 10-year streak that Tennessee had of beating Alabama because of his efforts. The guy who beat Auburn 31-7 when nobody gave us a chance. The man made plays after plays. But what a lot of people don't know is what he did inside the huddle, what he did inside the locker room, the person he was in the dorm, the person he was in the weight room. He always, I was a better player because of Santonio Beard. He smiled, he had fun, he brought joy to the game, he brought joy to the huddle. Whenever we needed a joke, Santonio always had it. Now, some of the jokes I wouldn't share with my children, but they were funny and much needed at the time. Santonio was not only a great running back, but he was a good friend. He was a great teammate to all of us, and we will always miss him. We'll always, and his love for life, his love for the game, his joy, his passion, the type of man that he was. That's what I always remember. And that's the way he will always be remembered in my heart. Thank you again for giving us this opportunity just to talk about a great man with a great life and legacy that was taken from us way too early. Please know that his family is in our thoughts and prayers. Miss you, buddy. Miss you a lot. Thank you for all you did for us, Antonio.
Awesome. Great stuff. I'm glad to hear that from Wesley Britt. Truly tremendous guy, a man of great character. Joining us right now, we got a couple of his former teammates joining us in the room. Stephen Smith, if you could, man, please introduce Justin Smiley and Saleem Rasheed.
Oh, absolutely. We got two of the outstanding players here of Crimson Tide football. Both of these two knew Santonio Beard, played with Beard, had tremendous times with Beard. So first and foremost, we got one of the best hitters, light them up in Alabama football. He would put you on your body. He would knock you out your seat. He would drag you all across the field because he knew he was a bad man, and you knew he was a bad man. We got Saleem Rasheed in the building, bad man Saleem, here on the show. And then we got my man over here, Justin Smiley, another one of the legendary, iconic Alabama players here in Tuscaloosa. Two individuals that knew Santonio Beard extremely well. Guys, welcome in. How we feeling?
Welcome in, guys. How's everything going?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
And we're excited to have you guys on. Wish it was, under better circumstances. But, man, we are here tonight to honor a legend, a guy that you knew very well and competed with day after day, locker room with, and did life with. And, Justin, if you would, man, kind of start us off and tell us about your relationship with Santonio and kind of how it got started and what your first impression was.
Well, I don't think, obviously, I was pretty sick. I was beat up when I got the news the other day. I'm in disbelief just because he was such a quiet guy, a great teammate. I just remember, in the locker room, he didn't, he's one of those guys that was, he carried a big stick, but he didn't say a whole lot, and I just remember, times we're in the huddle and, we needed a couple. We knew we could hand it off to him and he was going to get it. And it just, I'm still in shock. I'm sick about it, to be honest. I think back to Ole Miss game. I'm sure we'll get into that. Ole Miss, Tennessee games that You know, Tennessee, for example, we'd lost 7 or 8 in a row, and that was a game, I guess, that went in streaks at the time. And I mean, he willed us to that win. Man, an amazing teammate, an amazing man, great running back. Can't say enough about him.
Without question. Saleem, I want to turn it over to you, man, if you would just kind of do the same thing. Tell us, your thoughts and your impressions of Santonio, and what he meant to you those years y'all were down at the capstone together.
Yeah, so when somebody passes, it's our tradition to say, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." From God we come, and to God we return, and that kind of helps us and reminds us that we were just enjoying one of God's gifts that He gave to us, and that helps me cope with loss as tragic as this at such a young age, because a lot of us, we get attached and we think somebody has allotted so many years, and it helps us deal with the fact that they didn't belong to us in the first place. So I wanted to start off with that. Me and Santonio, we came in the same year, class of '99, and it was a kind of like, I would like to say, a historic class. I mean, we had some players that came in and just played major minutes every game. Kenny King, Jared Johnson, Gerald Dixon, Santonio Beard, Brandon Myree, Antonio Carter. The list goes on and on of a lot of players who came in and made an immediate impact. And Santonio was just one of those guys with a personality that you just had to like. If you didn't like him, there was something wrong with you. He was calm in demeanor. He was nice, and he would get excited, and he was never negative. I never saw him be negative, and that's hard to do, especially in sports, to always keep a positive attitude. And like I was telling the guys, he's one of the smoothest running backs that I ever played against. He's a competitor. He had deceptive strength. He had amazing speed, and he was just smooth in the way he used to carry the football. And like Justin was saying, if you needed a few, you could count on him to go and get it. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was tough and he was fast at the same time. And just that smile and that calm, positive demeanor are some of my most fondest memories of him when we were playing. And unfortunately, the last time that I spoke with him was when we were here on Bama Standard. And he was the same way that I remember 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where he was just excited, full of enthusiasm and being positive. So he'll definitely be missed. And, I hate the way things happen. And like Justin, I was shook up at the news, like, what? No, it can't be true. And unfortunately it was, and that's where we are today. So yeah. I just thank God for the time that we were able to enjoy the gift that He gave us in Santonio.
That's a great point. I'm not to cut anybody off, but to reiterate what Saleem said, he was such a positive person, and I was telling my wife when I found out at that time at Alabama, and he was right in '99. I mean, that class was loaded with stars, man. I mean, and everybody in that class, I mean, they showed up, and we were there at everybody knows the tumultuous times. We weren't rolling like they are now, and we were faced with the adversity of sanctions and all that other mess. And I remember, Mal come in and said, that we could transfer without penalty, and we didn't have anybody leave. And I just remember how positive Santonio was. It didn't matter, in the weight room, he always had a smile. And I'm just thankful, like Saleem said, I'm thankful the time that I did get to spend with him, playing the game of football, man. I mean, it's amazing. I feel like I got to know Santonio a lot differently. I got to see a side of him that most will never get to see, and I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, wow. We were talking. AC Carter has now joined us. Welcome in, sir. Glad to have you in. Always a blessing to have you on.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys? What's up, fellas? How
Hey,
you
what's
doing?
going on?
Hey.
Good to see you
By the way,
guys.
Justin,
Hey,
I love the beard, Justin, by the way.
Hey, man, look here. I'm just trying to, yeah. He set the Beard standard a long time ago. A long time ago.
That is a good looking beard. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Justin.
Hey, Marvin, good to see you too, buddy.
I think he's still having audio issues. But,
okay.
AC, if you would, man, kind of join in. They're just kind of giving their first memories and first impressions of Santonio and what his passion and his heart and love for them and the game meant to them. So if you could kind of pick up with that and just, kind of relive some of your memories.
Oh, man, that's fun times. Great guy. I mean, piggyback off of everyone, always positive. You're going to get a good laugh from him. He can sometimes get on your nerves, but that was a good thing about him. And maybe me more than others, I was his roommate, for a couple of years. So, but, man, what an awesome guy. A lot of fun times. I just remember just us sitting up all day, all night playing Madden, playing the video game. I'll never forget one of my favorite stories is, I guess it would be the night. So it would have been September the 10th, the night before 9/11. We playing Madden. We had a tough game, and I beat him. So 9/11 morning, seriously, he beating on my door. Boom, boom, boom. Get up. Rematch. I never forget it. So we got up. We was playing the game, and I never forget. That's when we got the call about 9/11. Hey, come to the football building, the whole nine. But man, I just remember that, man. He was so upset. He wanted to beat me so bad. He was so upset about that, man. He did not want. I'm like, bro, we got to go. We got to meet. No, finish the game. Wow. We wouldn't mind skipping a meeting. Now we would definitely miss one or two of them. So I never forget that, man. So that, I mean, I could just see his face. He was so upset. I beat him in a clutch game the night before, man. He wanted that rematch bad, but man, what a wonderful guy. Personality, you can't beat it. Again, smile on his face was a glow. Love football. He had a natural, was effortless, the way he ran the football. Speed that, you look at it and you be like, he ain't that fast. But that guy has some wheels. He can run. Yeah. But not just that. He was physical. He was bigger than what you thought. Yeah. He even was bigger when he put those pads on.
He was, man.
I remember one time in practice, he was he had some crafty techniques, I remember about 10 times straight, because he'd have to pass block if I was rushing. I remember like about 10 times straight he cut me, because in college these guys know I was a big hitter. That was my thing. I used to like to lay it on and hit. I didn't have too many pass rushing moves.
Yes, you did.
I was gonna run. I was gonna run your butt over there.
He would bring it.
But I'm gonna hit you face to face with this gigantic head. Anyway, so he cut me. So one time I remember, he's crafty, like I was telling you. He went to and he fake cutted me, and then he raised up and he hit me, and he almost knocked me off my feet. I was like, man, you clearing this. You almost got me. I was like, you crafty joker, you, man. You wanted to get that on film, knocking me down, but nah, he didn't knock me off my feet, but he almost got me. He faked that cutting and raised up, because I was trying to play off for it, and he raised up and hit me in my chest. I was like, oh, okay, all right, that was nice. And so like AC is saying, he's bigger than you would think, and stronger than you would think.
Yes, just a humble guy, man. Just think about, he sat behind some great backs. He didn't complain, brought his hard hat every day. Again, like Smiley said, we had guys, you see these guys now, they jump in the transfer portal like it's nothing. Yeah. It meant something for us to wear that crimson jersey.
Hey, man, I talk about that. I tell people that all the time. There's no free agency for us.
Yeah,
but
man,
we had a chance. We had a reason to leave.
Yeah, we had reason.
We knew we weren't going.
Head coaches.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we had a stable full of unbelievable running backs, man, that just balled, and it would be the perfect recipe for somebody to just jump ship.
Yeah, It
And
never did.
you see what Santonio does. We go down to Tennessee in Knoxville and wear them out.
Yeah.
Ole Miss. You look
Auburn,
at
Ole Miss. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, dude. You remember that Ole Miss game? I mean, Santonio, he toted us on his back.
Yes, he did. I mean, I never forget. I mean, that game, even the Iron Bowl game, man, he was so. People have no idea how upset he was because they was just talking about how good Cadillac was and Ronnie Brown. And
Hey,
I mean, he was fired
that whole
up.
week.
He was
You're
so
right, man.
upset. But what I want people, I wish back then the filming, because that was passion. He was like, it wasn't no, these guys. He was like, I'm gonna show them. And again, he wasn't no talker, and he went out and showed them who was the better back. Had us phenomenal.
You're right. He didn't talk, man.
No,
that's what I love about him.
He was like SB was like Ed Reed if Ed Reed played offense.
Yeah, he was mean. I mean, when he played ball, he ran mean. But I just would never forget the passion, the hunger, the love for the game, the love for his brothers. I mean, again, guys, it's been a tough week for me. I'm trying to hold together for you guys, but man, that's my guy. I love him to death. Had some great moments. Him coming home, it touched my mom, it touched my family. You know, we done spent time together. His family, I talked to his sister and family quite a bit this week, last week or so. But I never forget when my phone just rung and dude, I didn't sleep and just cried. It was touch. It was tough. And I'm gonna miss my guy. I'm gonna miss him, man. I've been doing my best talking to my pastor and family and friends, just remembering the good times.
I think Saleem said it, man. Saleem hit the nail on the head. That it puts things in perspective, and our time on Earth is short. I'm just very, very thankful. I said this earlier and reiterate what Saleem said is that, it was a gift from God. I got to block for him. I remember vividly looking in his eyes one time after we scored in against Ole Miss. And I ran into the end zone, and he kind of jumped up and did his thing. And I remember looking in his eyes. I'll never forget that, man. And those are the things that nobody can ever take from me. Those are the things that I don't know, that makes it special.
That makes it special, man. I'll never forget my guy. He was a great guy, man. He would do anything for anyone. Again, he loved Alabama. He loved his teammates. He loved his family, great family, man. His mom, his sisters, everyone, man. That was my guy. I will never, ever forget him. Never, ever forget him. I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep this on there for a while. You guys can see. That's my screensaver. And I'm going to keep it on there for a long time. And just, I've been calling. It's been tough, but I called his phone, and I know he still got his voicemail just to hear his voice on his voicemail. So, but man, that's my guy. And he's going to be missed, but not forgotten, that's for sure. He definitely was a trailblazer, left a mark on so many people. Left some beautiful daughters behind that, he got some brothers that's going to help take care of those girls. And that's a promise I made to myself, and a prayer that I'm going to do all I can to help those young ladies out. So to step up and be that dad. So but that's my guy. That is a tough one.
Without a doubt. I remember that Ole Miss game very well. That meant a lot to me because I'm from Mississippi. I come from an Ole Miss family, so I'm the black sheep. So anytime we played the Rebels, it meant a lot to me. But what about that game really set Santonio off? Because he ended up tying Sean Alexander for Alabama record, 5 touchdowns in the game. What about that particular game just really had him motivated and set to do something great? Or was that just Santonio being Santonio?
That was class of 99. When we showed up, we was going to give our very best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we brought. It wasn't, it was never any jealousy of any of us we never was. I mean, man, we was a brotherhood.
We loved
And
each
what
other,
you
man.
saw that day was a guy that was hungry and thankful for an opportunity, and he was gonna make the most of it. Because the guy, hey, like me, when I knew my number was called, man, I better make the most of it. I got Freddie Millions over there. You know what I'm saying? I may not get another ball, so I'm gonna go and do all I can to catch the ones I get. And the same with him. That was just the passion, the love he had for football, that I'm gonna seize the moment. I got an opportunity. I'm gonna make the most of it, and that's what he did. And that day, he shined, man. He shined.
Well, we at that time, obviously, we hung our hat on the run game. That was just kind of our MO, and lucky that we had guys like Santonio, Mod, Shad. I mean, we had some studs, and like AC said, Santonio ran with intent.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it wasn't just, hey, we hope we get 4 yards a pop. I mean, he was going to try to make them pay, and in that game right there, I mean, it was just one of those where he could do no wrong. I mean, he made something out of nothing a bunch. I promise you. I mean, I remember blocking for him, and where it should have been, a 5 or 6 yard gain, and he'd break a tackle, and then he was off to the races. And like you said, he had deceptive speed, man. I mean, just look at that game. But I mean, it wasn't just a game full of big, explosive plays. I mean, we chopped wood that game.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that's just kind of how we did things. And I mean, he was the bell cow, man. Yeah. For sure. We hung our hat on him.
It was important to him. It was
no
important
doubt.
to him, and that's, he ran with a purpose. He played with the purpose. And I mean, it was important to him every day. And it wasn't about him. He was a selfless guy.
He was a great teammate for sure.
Yeah. Off the field, on the field. It wasn't about him. He was going to give his best to be productive, to make the team, to help the team. And whatever he had to do at all costs. So, man, if that meant this game only get 3 carries, hey, whatever. He never complained.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. I never, not one time.
He never complained.
That's what I told my wife. I said, look here, I never heard him one time complain about carries or this or that. Man, he made the most of his role. I mean, we talk about the stable back. I mean, to me, Santonio was, I mean, look, we had great running backs. I mean, we had Shad, Ahmad, I mean, like I said, a stable. But I mean, to me, he was the focal point.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was a game changer.
That was it. I mean, that's a fact.
The whole momentum.
And he was durable. I mean, a lot of people overlook that now. The ability to just play games game in and game out. You see how many injuries take place across the league. And just to piggyback off what AC said, that class of '99 was just a special class that came in. We brought an SEC championship back to Alabama after I don't know how many years. And one thing that was common among most of the guys in that class is this level of hunger that they had. And we had a level of brotherhood that we carried all the way year in and year out until we parted ways. So it was a class that had the same kind of mentality that, hey, we're coming in to make a difference. And they kept that mentality all the way until we parted ways. So it was a very special class. And
hey, look,
I loved it.
That's the reason why I came to Alabama. That's a fact. I tell everybody, Dabo Swinney recruited me. Okay. He was a big part of why I came to Alabama, but the class of '99 was the reason. I remember coming on my visit and just in awe. Jarrett Johnson was my host, and I got to meet AC. I got to meet Saleem, the brotherhood, Santonio, Ahmad, just how close the guys were. I wanted to be a part of that. We didn't know that we were going to go on, go on probation. We weren't going to play. We weren't going to have the opportunity to play for championships and all that stuff until a little later. But the class of '99, was the reason why I came to Alabama, because I mean, the class from top to bottom. I mean, every one of them played in the NFL. I mean, they just loaded, man, stacked.
Yeah, we had like 9 guys playing that freshman year, AC.
That was amazing.
Right.
Yeah, Dante Ellington, he ended up starting. You had you had
Gerald
Smoke,
Dixon,
you had
Herschel
Jared
Bolden,
Johnson, you had
Gerald
Kenny
Dixon.
King, you had Herschel Bolden. So it was
Kenny
just
King,
Kendall.
Jared Johnson, Saleem, myself. I mean, we had a group of guys that came in there hungry, bro.
Yeah.
Hungry. And I mean, we refused to be, denied. And
That's
we
right.
competed every day. I mean, I had a mindset. I think I practiced against the best players every day. So on game day was easy.
Right.
I mean, it was tough. You know, these guys now, I mean, I know they work hard, not knocking that at all, but man, we actually had tour days. Where you banging every day.
Hey,
Every day. Yeah.
Hey, that's
days.
why Santonio.
I'm not
That's
gonna
why
joke.
Santonio was so productive, and we were so productive running the football. Was 9-on-7 against
we were banging every day.
and Jarrett Johnson and Kenny King and Kendall Moorhead day in and day out. I mean, you playing the best.
It wasn't no concussion protocol.
That's a fact.
I will
Get
say
you some
this
water and
though.
get back in
I'll
there.
say this though.
Get you a salt pill from Rodney.
Yeah.
I'll say this though.
Get your mind right.
The 99 class, I got to take my cap off to y'all because y'all actually helped raise me into Alabama football. So I got to take my cap off.
Y'all bring up a very good point. A lot of people don't really realize exactly what was going on during that time period, during probation. You know, we had every reason to hang our heads. So, like you mentioned earlier, you know, y'all could have easily left. But the thing is, 2001, 2002, y'all came to ball. And you didn't care if you were playing for a bowl game, a national championship, or just for pride. And you don't see that these days with athletes. You know, if they had the slightest discomfort, the slightest setback, they're in that portal, they're going somewhere else. But you guys, you came in there ready to play. Every game was a national championship, you know, and that definitely was evident in San Antonio.
Yeah, he was hungry. Again, all of us, man, we was all chasing the same goal, same purpose. You know, come in, give your very best. I mean, championships, whatever. Man, we love ball. We love ball.
Yeah, and we loved Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you mean. I mean, I would agree with that 100%. I just loved Alabama. I loved my guys. I loved my teammates, and these guys here are the reason why I stayed and I didn't transfer. It was for each other. That's why we stayed. Yeah, there was, like you said, the slightest discomfort and guys jump ship. You know, I mean, that we just, man, we hung in there.
Period.
Yeah.
Bro, we was together. We went everywhere together. There wasn't no whites, wasn't no blacks, wasn't no none of that. We rolled deep.
That
together.
Listen, that is a fact. 100%.
It was 50 deep.
It was special, man. It was special. Yeah. It was an amazing time.
We was one heartbeat, man. One heartbeat. And guys, I love you guys so much, and I'm so thankful for this time. My son got a basketball game. I got to run here and get him to his game. We got to be there at 7 at 6:38. But guys, before I go, I just want to leave you guys with, man, just again, stay strong. We got to stay together. Again, I'm just so thankful to be a part of this brotherhood, to wear that crimson jersey. When I love you guys so much, I'll never, ever, ever forget you. I'm always remember you. And, you know, like Santonio, man, we got to stay together. We got to keep that smile on our face. Stay encouraged. Love on your family. You never know. You never know. So to the Roll Tide family, I just want you to know that was a great guy. Santonio meant the world to me. Same to these other guys. And he was the real deal. Great person, great man, great father, great friend. Never forget it. Always love you. I know you hear me now, bro. I love you guys, man. Roll Tide.
All right, AC, man. Always good to see you, bro.
Roll Tide, bro.
AC.
We appreciate you, brother, man.
Roll Tide, man.
And one of the things that I remember the most, about being a student at that time, as well as being a fan, were the games where media and everybody around the country were saying, ain't no way Alabama's going to beat Auburn in the Plains. Ain't no way that Alabama go to Tennessee and Knoxville and beat them and snap this streak. Ain't no way they're going to beat Eli Manning in 2002 with that loaded Ole Miss squad. And as soon as I heard all that, I was like, okay, Santonio's about to hear all this, and that's only going to get him pissed off and by association get y'all fired up. Those were the games that meant a lot to me, watching him play, and then just that filtering out amongst all you guys.
And like we just keep repeating, Santonio was a special guy. And I don't say that lightly. And those who know me know I'm not easy on compliments. You'll rarely run across an athlete that doesn't complain and works so hard as he did. So those were some unique, and to stay positive all the time. It's something very difficult to do because things don't go your way a lot in sports, and you're stricken with adversity at all times. So it's so hard to consistently. Now, I don't know, outside of when we played together, if that was everything. But from my observation, I never saw him ever bow to adversity and never complain, and he was always so positive, and that's infectious. Those are leadership qualities that people want to bound around and follow. When you see someone always positive, they're never brought down by the adversity, and that's just a special quality in him, and we'll miss that in him. I'm sure he carried that on into life. We didn't continue to talk after the playing days, but I'm sure he carried that on into his friendships, fatherhood, brotherhood, to his siblings, being a son. I'm sure he had those same qualities when he was stricken with adversity, that he stayed positive. And I think that probably made him successful throughout the course of his life until this unfortunate end. So he'll, all of my memories are positive about him. I don't have one negative memory about Santonio. And that's also hard, especially when you're dealing in sports when there's so much conflict, especially between linebackers and running backs. So you can imagine how difficult that is to say. But I did love all my guys, even if we did fight. Me and Justin getting into it, I don't ever remember us fighting, but we used to go at it. At the end of the day, you have a special bond with those guys that you sweat with and you go through those trials with. There's always, no matter how many years go and you don't speak to them, when you see them, there's a special brotherhood there, and especially if you go to Alabama. So that's one of the beautiful things about the fraternity of Alabama and playing football with guys, because you guys go through some things together that bring you closer together that you have to, overcome. So
training camp and Tuscaloosa is the hottest place on earth during August.
Oh my goodness.
I remember Saleem Justin, you'll remember this. Saleem can vouch. I think it was 2002 going into it. There was a stretch there where it was 11 days and it was over 100 degrees every day for 11 days straight.
Oh yeah.
I remember it.
And Fran's camps were brutal. I mean, it was a real deal. And, the
thing about Fran though, Justin, that I didn't like, just looking at him, I don't think that he ever went through that himself. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm a big proponent of somebody having to, like an offensive line coach saying, "Hey, look here, I need you to set this bull rush down, Justin," and they've never blocked a Varian 3 technique. I have an issue with that. So yeah, I agree. Fran never went through. He never held the rope. He never held the rope. We did. We did a lot of holding on. But that's when you form that bond, man. And I remember like Jarrett Johnson. We all know how tough Jarrett is, and I don't know if you remember, he fell out with a heat stroke. They had to pack him in ice and just things like that, like Santonio in 907. When we did not want to touch another human being, we didn't want anybody touching us, and we're battling out with our defense. And like I said, every one of those dudes, Saleem, Jarrett, all of them are NFL players. and I'm early on in my career, and we just keep feeding the ball to Santonio, and he doesn't gripe. He doesn't say one ill word. I think one thing that I can say to everybody is that we don't let Santonio die in vain. And I think you're doing a good job. Justin and Steven and Saleem's done a good job that everybody's keeping his memory alive. And the farther we get away, I mean, gosh, man, it's been 22 years since I stepped foot at Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Just turned 40 this year.
We gotta get you back in there, Justin.
Yeah, I know, man. I might have one good one left in me. Hey, the farther we get away from these people, they forget about Santonio Beard and those big runs. They're the people that, the students now, they don't know about Santonio Beard. They know about,
Derrick Henry
and those guys, and rightfully so, because those guys are ballers. But we can't forget those who paved the way, man. And
yeah, you're right.
Hey, we were there during a selfless time, man. We didn't garner the hardware, and we didn't get the rings. Lord, I wanted one. That's like I said. Well, we were ranked number 3. Saleem and them had won the SEC championship. I thought we were going to play for it. Then Freddie, you remember, he ran the punt back in UCLA. I'm like, boy, we about to do it.
We went
and we didn't win another damn game that year.
We went for a touchdown on the punt return, and we were like, we're going to the national championship.
Yeah, man, we wound up winning 3 games, getting beat by Central Florida.
I know, right? Oh,
I mean,
and Dustin McClintock fought the whole Central Florida team on that kickoff return.
Oh yeah. It was new.
Hey, folks forget McClintock was a bad dude.
Yeah, he was a beast. He was a man child. There's no doubt. We had man. We had a team full of them. I'm telling you. And like I said, the farther you get away, these people don't know. They don't know about Santonio Beard, and I think the worst thing we could do is let his memory die with him.
Yeah, you're right. This generation, whether it's player or fan or what have you, I don't think that they appreciate the past. Now, and I also don't think they're being taught to. Our generation and the generations before us, we were being taught who those greats were and who had that jersey before you guys and what it meant to wear that number.
Without a doubt, man. I remember walking into the weight room at the time. Saleem, you remember they had the characters, the drawings of all of the All-Americans that played at Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Man, I learned a lot about Alabama football from being in the weight room with TJ, just looking at the guys like, man, I want to be up there one day. I want to be an All-American. I mean, I knew everything about Saleem before I ever came. I mean, I lived and breathed it, and I agree with you. I don't think that the guys really know about the tradition. But man, it runs deep.
Yeah.
It's a lot bigger than the last 7 national championships. It's a lot bigger than that.
I know I said this before, but just going back to that 99 class, I was 6 years old when y'all came in. So I said, man, y'all raised me when I came in. So I mean, watching Saleem, you, Justin, Beard, like y'all raised me. That's awesome,
man, and that feels good to hear.
Yeah. I mean, because when I was watching Beard run, I'm like, if I could have ever played Division I football, that was the guy I wanted to run like. Because like he could turn it on and he would keep it on. Yeah, I'm like, holy goodness,
smooth, man.
Like,
long strides.
99 raised me.
And my gosh, if he was on a tall sweep, forget it. You weren't going to get him.
That's pretty awesome, Steven. That's a great memory. Those are the things, man, that keep me going. You know what I'm saying? And talk about the his memory and keeping it alive. It's important, I mean, you look back. I mean, I went back and watched a classic or two after I heard that he because I just wanted to see him in action, man. And every bit as good as advertised and what we talk about, and he was a special player at a really tough time, and I don't think that he got the the respect that he does deserve. And I'm really glad that you guys are doing this to honor that.
Yeah, I'll second that. I really appreciate you guys putting this together in memory of Santonio Beard, a very special human first, and football player and family man, all of that stuff after, but a very special person first.
You talked about those hard times during Coach Fran in the summer. What was worse, what he made you go through, or what Coach TJ made you go through?
I can respect it with TJ. You know, you got to respect it with TJ.
TJ been there, done it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a guy who you can look at him and know that, hey, you've never been through what you're trying to put us through. Yeah, you do it, but you can't really respect it, man. You know what I'm saying?
And TJ knew. I mean, obviously everybody was going to get it. He was going to work you. But if he knew who would sandbag and who didn't, you know what I'm saying? And he said, I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but he said, hey, we're going to do some stupid shit. If he said you're going to do some stupid shit, we were going to run Jack Burger. I don't know if y'all know what a Jack Burger is.
We talk about it regularly on this show, so we're very familiar.
I don't know nothing about a Jack Burger. But listen, like I said, I never did anything to have to run a Jack Burger. But I've seen a lot of them. But yeah, TJ, I mean, hey man, he's as Alabama as anybody, you know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, he played there and was a star, and I love him.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
I literally think he's the reason for these last 6 championships.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
you got that right.
Amazing, man.
But as we begin to kind of close things down, guys, if y'all can kind of think back to you guys, what was your favorite moment with Santonio, whether it was in practice, a game, or just kicking it, out off the field? What stands out to you the most, if you can even narrow it down to that? Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard for me to narrow it down to one instance. Like the moment I shared with you guys, that was a nice instance of craft versus brawn a little bit, if you will. So I appreciated that. Okay, he was like, I have an opportunity to kind of just get him at his own game, and he took advantage of that. So that was a favorite moment of mine, and that sticks out in my memory. The other one is when we first came in that class and we met each other, and we all had the same kind of mentality, like, okay, we're looking at each other. All right, you guys are coming in, all right. And then once we started working, we kind of saw what that class was about. So kind of when we first met each other, when we came on campus and we were all there as freshmen together, back then we had to shave our heads and all of that stuff. But they cut a lot of that out. But when we were in there together and we saw, okay, yeah, y'all shave our heads now, but we're coming to take some positions and some spots, and we're going to get impact class.
And you did.
So, and if anybody needs to see those pictures, I still have the media guys to prove that. So if anybody wants to see that after the show,
hey, look, you listen.
Some of us had long hair, like Gerald Dixon. He had dreads, long dreads, and he talked all the crap about how y'all aren't cutting my hair. No. But if you look at the media guy, like Justin said, he's skinny.
Hey, I have to tell you a quick story real quick. Everybody get a kick out of this. So a couple of days before we do, we're to go through Hell Night. We're out and we're doing one-on-one pass rush and practicing. And Jarrett Johnson, we didn't have helmets on, and we couldn't wear helmets at the time. And I got hit in the nose. I broke my nose. So both eyes are black. They shaved my head and my eyebrows. And I look like Uncle Fester, bro.
No.
I look like from the Addams Family. For the entire first 6 weeks of school, my freshman year, no girls would talk to me. I mean, I didn't get any love.
Why did they take your eyebrows, Justin? That was eyebrows.
That's eyebrows.
Go back right, man.
Hey, all right, we'll blame that one on Jeremy Walker. But
okay.
he got one of them.
Say Say
he got
no
one
more.
of them.
All
And I
you
was
gotta
like,
do
well, I'm
is
just
that
going to
name,
shape
man.
the other,
Say
and
no
I'll
more.
match.
Yeah,
Bad
say no
idea.
more.
Bad idea.
Oh, crap.
Uncle Fester the entire first semester. It was bad.
Those eyebrows, man, they don't always grow back right, and they take a while to
No.
grow back, man.
Yeah, it was rough, man. But
Is
Yeah.
that why I didn't see you for a couple of weeks your first semester?
hey,
Walking around
yeah,
campus because it kind
look,
of I was wondering where's he at?
I laid low. There's no doubt. But there's some pictures floating around. Matter of fact, I'll try to get it together. I try to forget about that actually, but
I don't blame you, man.
yeah, it was pretty bad. It was bad. That hey, you're talking about a Santonio moment. I talked to you before we get about that game and the look in his eye. I'll never forget that, man. Never forget that. That was special for me, just to have that moment. And it's something that I'll keep with me and I'll cherish. And we talked about him as a football player and how much he meant to Alabama and how much he meant to his teammates. But he was an even more amazing person. And we can't forget that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we're definitely going to do our part to make sure that his legacy continues to live on. And matter of fact, that's one of the main motivators for us doing shows, like this and having this show is to honor all of you guys from every generation so that everybody can remember exactly what you contributed so that you're never forgotten because what you did made a big difference. It made a huge impact. And matter of fact, you guys are the reason why a lot of in this generation and the generation before became Alabama fans. So
And
you
I'll
have a
say this,
lasting legacy.
and it's because of you guys that I come on here and give these extremely hyped introductions. Like I work on this, giving these extremely hyped introductions.
I appreciate that, Steve.
Well, we do appreciate that, and we do love it. We love Alabama just as much as you guys, and obviously we all are in different parts of the country now, and we're all kind of doing our own thing with families and stuff. But we're a part of the Alabama family, and we'll always be.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we definitely want to have you guys back to do some reunion shows and have a little fun during the off season. And I hate that Marvin could not be with us. He had some technical difficulties and it kept him out of the show. So we definitely need to get y'all back to where we can all be together. But thank you guys again so much for being a part of this tribute to Santonio Beard. Truly remarkable man, a man of God, a man that loved Alabama football, that breathed, Alabama football. Growing up, he even had a picture of Antonio Langham in his locker as a motivator to help him get to where he was able to set these records that we talk so fondly about. But yeah, thank you guys again. It truly means a lot. And for all the family and friends and loved ones that watched, I hope that we did him a great service and we honored him properly. And I pray that you really enjoyed these moments that we had with you tonight.
Appreciate you, Justin.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you for
Steve.
having us on. Roll Tide, guys.
Roll Tide, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.